scheduling notes. I'm going to try to make things a little quicker for us tonight and get the timestamps there for you. So I'm going to write those down as we go along. So let's go into talking about what's scheduling this week. So let's first start with going through and splitting this up. So don't forget, as we're talking about this, some of you might be confused. What in the world is he talking about? I don't understand these definitions or words. So the order bank is where orders are placed, right? That's where retail in stock orders are placed by the dealers. Just placed one for your brother today. So on a Bronco Sport, or not Bronco Sport,
Did he?
on a Mach-E. We
You go
ordered
ahead.
we ordered one for him. So when it comes in, hopefully we can get that work payment
I'm
wise for him.
excited for him.
So Mustang Mach-E, good deals on those right now. So we placed one for him in Vapor Blue, select front wheel drive. So he mainly just drives it around town, and he's gonna like that. No gas. Anyway, also retail orders are orders that are customer placed orders. So like for him, his was a retail order. Stock orders are orders that are placed by the dealer for stock or lot inventory. So if the dealer starts to see, ooh, I got 10 allocations this month, but I only have 2 retail orders, I need to put some stock orders in there so that we use those allocations and get something from them. So now, priority codes are given to the orders. Retail orders are given a 10 to 19, actually 03 to 19 now, and stock orders are 20 to 80. So as you can see, lower is the better. So a retail order will always get looked at before a stock order will. So they always take precedence over a stock order. Scheduling is when Ford schedules an order for production dates in the future. So they usually schedule vehicles on Thursdays, primarily on Thursdays. There was a special one that happened actually yesterday, I believe, for Ranger Rapture, but typically they're on Thursdays, and they schedule for dates in the future. Usually they schedule 2 months in advance, but on the F-150s and Super Duties, it's usually just 1 month in advance because of the production level that they have. Now, production dates, you'll get when you get scheduled, you get a VIN number, and you'll get a scheduled to a week status or scheduled to a day if it's just like a month out. And that's when Ford plans to build your vehicle or your order. Allocations. So a Ford gives dealers allocations to schedule their orders. A dealer needs an allocation to schedule an order in the order bank. So if you have an order in there, but the dealer doesn't have any allocations, you're not going to get scheduled. The dealer has to have an available allocation. Dealer earns allocations based on their sales for each model within their region. So, we get a lot of Maverick allocations because we sell a lot of Mavericks. So, and that started from when it launched. Now, constraints, those are options that may be in short supply or take longer to build. Sometimes a constraint could be a bed cover, not because they can't get bed covers, but it takes a little while to get the bed covers put on. So it just takes longer, so it can only do a select number. Now, capacity is the planned production rate of a given motor, trim, or option. So Maverick Black Appearance Package, 10% capacity. That means only 10% of their scheduling can be that particular build, whether it be because of parts, whether it be time, whatever it might be. I got this fly around me. Okay, and then there's job 1 and job 2. They split those into 2 different changes in case they need to make significant changes like they did with Mach-E. Big significant changes there, but in some other ones, they'll do that as well. And then balance out is the end of the production. We're going to start hearing things like this option or this color is balanced out or this option's balanced out, which means that they cannot produce anymore for the year. So, all right. Have any questions? I can bring that back up. All right, so let's talk about first 24 Mustang. They are doing cleanup scheduling. Now, cleanup scheduling means that there might be some dealers that still have some extra allocations that didn't get used based on those, and it gives dealers a chance to make some changes or talk to their customers and saying, hey, we could have scheduled yours, but it had this option on it. If we take that off, we still have those allocations. Maybe next week it can get scheduled. So the cleanup scheduling is they're filling those holes for what they can build, and typically cleanup scheduling would be more basic builds. So if you have like a package that's a low capacity, they probably won't get scheduled. But something that is well within their capacity, like on a Maverick, if you have like a Maverick XLT EcoBoost, right, with no Lux package, you probably can get scheduled if your dealership has an allocation. So that's kind of what cleanup scheduling is. So on the Mustang, we have cleanup scheduling this week. We actually do have 3 of our allocations. We had some got scheduled last week, some retails, but now they're opening up. We'll probably get some retails scheduled or some stock ones scheduled because we have 3 allocations. And then we do have they're scheduling for the months for weeks in September. And then they are said limited availability right now on the 19 by 8.5 inch shadow silver painted aluminum wheel, and also exhausted availability on the Dark Horse handling package option 67P, as well as the Night Pony package option 60G. It says remove this option to enable the orders to be eligible for scheduling. So they're kind of focusing on dealers that have stock orders in there because they can't right now. That's exhausted. So exhausted means so there's usually you see limited availability and you see exhausted availability. Now we have seen some where exhausted availability means that they're not going to be able to pick those options this week. Limited means that they're going to select a very low number. Now, I've actually seen where somebody says, well, I got scheduled and I had 3 exhausted items on my order. So I don't know. And sometimes I don't even know if the factory knows. But anyway, that's usually how that works. By the way, the order banks are open up for retail in stock orders on the 24 Mustang. See, normally I like to go over. Right now, there's about 769 orders, unscheduled retail orders in the order bank, not counting Dark Horse. So there you go. So really shouldn't matter too much. Like I said, the biggest constraints is the Dark Horse handling package and your Night Pony package. And by the way, in the Dark Horse, that is a specialty scheduling. So your dealer has to have a Dark Horse allocation. Like we're supposed to get 5 for the entire year, or model year, I should say, which is like 18-month run. So yeah, your dealer has to have an allocation for that. All right. 23 Escape, cleanup scheduling as well. So they're trying to fill in those last holes. And for dealerships that have allocations, we have 0, although those got scheduled last week. They're scheduling for the weeks in March or September. Oh, I was doing that last week. For September, orders needed. They are needing ST line Elite and Platinum orders without the premium technology package. So if you have one of those orders, they need those. More likely to get scheduled. It says, please consider amending orders to improve scheduling selection. Right now, the order banks are open for a gas Escape. They are closed for a plug-in hybrid, and they're open for stock ordering. So, and when they say gas, that would include hybrid in this case. So there you go. All right. And right now, there's only 647 orders, retail orders in the order bank. Got to make sure I say retail. That's not including stock orders. So, all right. Bronco Sport, we have 8 allocations available still. They are doing cleanup scheduling as well. They are trying to finish out for 23 model year closeout here, or build balance out. I mentioned that term earlier. They are scheduling 4 weeks from September 4th through the weeks of 10/8, 10/9, which would be the finish out of 23 model year. Limited availability on the convenience package, which is optional on the Big Bend. So other trim levels, you probably be all right. The order banks should be closed on 23, but they open today on the 24 model year. So now you can get those special new packages. Right now, there's only 459 23 model year retail orders left to schedule in the order bank there. So, all right. 24 Edge. By the way, this is the last year for the Edge. I've had to tell people that on some of the videos that I have. This is the last year for the 24 Edge. They're doing cleanup scheduling as well for production weeks 9/4 to 9/25. Exhausted availability, which blows my mind on this, is the 20-inch polished aluminum wheel, which is option 64Q. The panoramic Vista roof is 43P. The ST line all-wheel drive version, the ST all-wheel drive version, and the all-season tire that's TFP on that. So time to wake up. Anyway, those are exhausted. Might see a few scheduled, but for the most part, you won't. Order banks are open for retail and stock orders. There's 166 orders in the order bank. So if you order one from a dealer, especially from us, we don't actually have any allocations left this month, but you should get scheduled probably pretty fast with your local dealer. So put that order in if you want one. All right. 23 model year Bronco cleanup scheduling as well. They are scheduling for production weeks of September 4th through September 25th. Shortening the scheduling horizon to go through 9/11. So not sure what that means. Maybe somebody can educate me that. They don't forget the base, Everglades manual transmission, Badlands with optional wheel are balanced out for 23 model year. Can't order those. Heritage and Heritage Limited orders there, or the two-door version are delayed production and delayed in scheduling. And the Raptor, Heritage, Heritage Limited are not available for retail ordering right now. Outer Banks only available in four-door right now. That's new. I didn't see that last time, and I missed it earlier when I was looking this over. They said best configuration available right now, if you have an order in, is a two-door Badland, a two-door Wild Track, and four-door soft top for Badlands and Wild Track. So, which actually contradicts themselves of what they said earlier in the year, in that two doors are going to be only a 15% production and capacity, because we've actually had, according to Ford in March, that when we got our information from March, that said that we should, based on how many orders we can take in allocations, we should expect to only be able to schedule 3 two doors until the end of 23. We've scheduled 8 now, so throwing that out there. So put the order in and see what happens. Exhausted availability on the Heritage and Heritage Limited two-door, it says. So, and that, again, this is information on a weekly basis, so it could change from week to week. We are seeing some things that are staying the same each week, but these are weekly notes. A lot of, like I said, they can change each from week to week, but right now this is what we're looking at. Limited availability, which means again, a limited numbers, they can still get scheduled. And that is option 64S, which is the 17 by 8.5 alloy wheel that's standard on the Raptor. So if you have a Raptor one in there and a dealer has an allocation, you might want to go with that optional Raptor wheel. Also, limited availability is on the power driver's seat, which is optional on the four-door Badlands, as well as that's optional on the Raptor, and with both trim colors, and that's standard on the four-door Heritage Limited. Heritage Limited, not the Heritage. So to keep that in mind. And order banks are open right now on the 23. You can still order unless you want to wait and see what's going to look like in 24. Never know. Might have some new packages and trims. And manual might come back. Never know. All right. So what do we have left? We're down to 12,500 retail orders in the order bank that are still unscheduled. And still don't know why we had 196 priority 99s, but we do. Dealers, pay attention. Okay. What else? Really, about every trim is within capacity of what they can do. So I wouldn't be worried if you have something, how long it'll take, unless you're looking at a Heritage Edition. Heritage Edition, it's not looking great. We still have, considering the 12,500 orders that are in there, 16% of those are Heritage Editions. So, and then two-door is under the capacity, but four-door hardtops total is now 90% of the orders. And that's why if you have a cloth top, you're golden, because only 10% of the orders in the order bank are cloth top, four-door cloth tops. So, wow. There you go. Okay. Moving on. Okay. 23 model year Explorer. We have 5 allocations available for that if you want to put a retail order in. Cleanup scheduling this week for production weeks 9/4 through 9/25. Effective July 31st, 23 model year orders configured with a 360-degree camera will be built with a 360-degree. And it cut it off. Camera removal option. There's a hyphen there. I thought it was another line item. So we'll actually talk about this in a little bit during dealer news updates, but you have to remove the 360-degree camera. So they are having issues with that. We know it's a problem with the recall. There's a recall going in on that, so that has to do with that, I believe. Base 100A for retail orders only. So if you want a base 100A, you're not going to find one at a dealer unless somebody doesn't take one. You want to go ahead and order one. Order banks are open on those right now for stock and retail. Limit availability on the XLT Sport Appearance Package, option 68M, as well as the ST High Performance Package, option 68T. Getting cold? Just putting a blanket on.
It's not always the cold. I can feel the fan moving my hair.
All right, there's 697 retail orders in the order bank right now, so not too many. That's probably a weekly number of people that put them in there. So we get a lot of ours scheduled right away. Same way on an Expedition, which we're going to talk about next. 24 model year Expedition. They're doing cleanup scheduling this week for production weeks 9/4 to 9/25. 23 model year has balanced out. So there you go. Only XL and XLT will be available for scheduling this Thursday. So if you're looking at a XL, it's actually the STX version. So there you go. So if you have an XLT, looking good for you. Limited availability on King Ranch Limited and Timberline, even though they just said that they're not going to be scheduling those. And then the 22-inch polished aluminum wheel that's standard on Limited Platinum, 64P is limited. Not sure why we're mentioning these because it already told us that they're not going to schedule for those, but yet they're saying they're limited. Also, don't forget the rear entertainment system accessory that is on limited availability. 91D, I would remove that if I were you. So off of your order, if you want to get it scheduled. Order banks are open on 24 model year Expedition, and we're taking those. We need some Expedition orders, so we have some availability. So if you want to get one, check us out. If you have a good local dealer, then don't check us out. All right, 23 Maverick. They are scheduling this week, cleanup scheduling as well for production weeks 9/4 to 10/9. For the closeout of 23 model year Maverick. They are finishing that out. I did get an email from the brand manager on that. Which we'll talk about this in a little bit, but the private offer amounts, they will communicate that after scheduling is done for 23. So they'll discuss that after that. They want to know what that number is when they're done with 23 scheduling. Then we'll get information on that. Order banks are closed for 23, but still open on 24. Still, we'll talk more about that as well. Some people, that theory, the myth out there going, right? We'll talk about that in a little bit. All right, there's 22,332 retail orders in the order bank for the Maverick. Don't know why there's 82 in priority 99, but there is because we dealers aren't paying attention. Okay, all right, moving on. 24 Ranger. So no scheduling this week. It says on 9/24, which was yesterday, a special commitment occurred where Raptors have been selected for scheduling. I think there were a bunch of Raptors where they couldn't schedule them because of that dealer installed option for the hitch lock, the tire lock. And so they allowed for dealers to remove those because it does say in here, remove the DIO spare tire lock option from all Ranger Raptor orders. Will not be eligible to schedule until that option is removed. Also, there's another one we're going to get to in just a second about the FX4 off-road package too. So we'll get into that. We'll talk about that during the dealer news updates. So if you have that option, you have to wait until we get to that. All right. And on Ranger, there's 2,553 U.S. retail orders available, non-Raptors, in the order bank. So anyway, some people ask, that seems pretty low. Is that just because that's for the U.S. That's what it is, right? Did I miss F-150? Where's F-150?
Gone. No more F-150.
I'm out of order here. Hold on a second.
Uh-oh.
F-150. Here we go. 23 F-150. We do have some allocations available for this. Not a lot of retail orders either. So, all right. So scheduling production week for August 21st for that week. Heated steering wheel availability is returning to the 23 F-150. We talked about that last week. It's part of our dealer news. So it does say the heated steering wheel removal 94X will no longer be available to order starting last Friday. It does say retail orders placed before Friday will be built as ordered unless the dealer removes that option after the reintroduction date of 7/21. It says most existing. Sorry.
Where are your glasses?
I don't know. Most
They're right here.
existing 23 model year F-150 stock orders with the heated steering wheel removal that have not been built will have the option a 94X removed, the removal removed from the order on the 24th, which is yesterday. So those should be off of those orders. So heated steering wheel back in business. All right. And F-150, there's only 3,194 U.S. retail orders in the order bank, not counting Raptor or Lightning. So make sure they preface that. Okay. All right. And then Mach-E, which I have my sheets out of order here. Let me pull the Mach-E. Oh, there it is. All right. Mach-E is scheduling this week. Cleanup scheduling. We have 2 allocations. I wouldn't be surprised if Jeff gets scheduled. We ordered his today. Probably get scheduled on Thursday. All right. Cleanup scheduling for this week. For production weeks 9/4 to 9/25. Exhausted availability. His can get scheduled and built before the Bronco Sport. Anyway, exhausted availability, the California Route 1 version, as well as the select, exhausted availability for select rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive versions. So if you have a select rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive, which is what he ordered, then exhausted availability. So maybe not. All right. Restricted until November scheduling. No amending these into these for stock orders. It says Night Pony package with the rear-wheel drive standard range battery or the all-wheel drive standard range battery. Also select version with the black painted roof, which actually wouldn't even let us select that today. I was like, that wasn't even on the order guide. In the 19-inch aero wheel, which is optional and select. So both of those, we tried to select that. It wouldn't let us. It told us not to. So you're not able to do that for your orders. Actually, it says no amending into these for stock orders, even though his was a retail order. But order banks are open up for those. Feel free to put those in. Transit Connect. I think we skipped over Super D, so I put it in a different spot. Okay, so we'll move into Super D in a second. 23 model year Transit Connect van and wagon is scheduling for the weeks and basically in September. No notes on those, so there you go. By the way, there's only 47 retail Mach-E orders in the order bank. They're probably all selects. So, anyway, Transit Connect van and wagon, again, they're sunsetting this as well, which means they're after 23. They will not make another one in the U.S. There's about 4,399 Transit Connect orders in the order bank. So there you go. No constraints on those, really. They're just trying to finish those out. There you go. And then let's see here. Let's do Transit, and then we'll come back to Super Duty. So I got this all out of order. All right, so Transit. It is scheduling this week for production week of 9/18, so September 18th. There's a lot of constraints on here. It says 3.5 liter V6 Cyclone orders. That's engine 99.8. Orders needed for dealers with remaining non-BEV commodity allocations. So they're needing those orders. They have those motors available. Orders are also needed from dealers for the e-Transit as well. So they're needing some of those. So which is crazy. All right. Limited availability for these options that I'm about ready to talk about. So option 65C, the power sliding door, the heavy duty front axle, which is standard on all-wheel drive. That's option 41E. The trail package, option 47N. The Sync 4, option 58F. The heavy-duty cargo flooring, which is option 60B, 10-way power ebony leather seats, option 21S, the vented wheel arch molding, option 15C, as well as the 360-degree camera, option 61D. Those are all limited availability. Again, they can be scheduled, but in very small numbers. So just keep that in mind. Now, here's some options that are completely balanced out. Is the depopulated key fob, the power running board, option 68L, the side barn doors, option 59A, and all crew van body codes, and also the Transit 350 heavy-duty dualies, cutaway chassis cabs, cargo vans with the 360 pound package there on it. So not available for stock orders, though, is the 360-degree camera, as well as a high-resolution camera and the 3.5 EcoBoost motor 99G. So those are not available for stock orders. So there you go. So, and right now, Transit, I'd be probably a good number, actually, Transits. There's 15,800 Transit orders in the order bank retail. That might actually include e-Transits as well, just so you know that. So now, Super Duty. Let's talk about Super Duty. I know there are a lot of people out there waiting to get their Super Duty scheduled on pins and needles there because 24 order banks are open now. But here we go. So we have 58 allocations still that need to be scheduled this month. This says in here, final 2023 model year orders and due date is 8/3. So you can make spec changes to your orders still and such, but that will be shut off the week or on August 3rd. So they are scheduling for the weeks of 8/14 to 9/4. That's not through all the way into the model year. So they're going to be building until October 1st and October 31st at Ohio. So there's still a lot of scheduling to be done here. They are trying to balance out. They're doing balance out scheduling to fill those last slots for the factories. As I mentioned, beginning of the year or beginning of the month, they're scheduling 13 weeks this month. So there's still a lot that need to be scheduled. For this week, this is the information for this week alone. Keep that in mind because you're gonna hear some of this stuff and go, man, I just will order a 24. But just remember, this is just for this week. There's still production dates that they're not scheduling for in September. The rest of September, they're only scheduling the weeks of August 14th through September 4th. So again, that's just a little bit here. So they say all King Ranch and Platinum orders were mass spec changed to include the multi-contoured seat removal. That's option 91X. So if you have a King Ranch or Platinum, multi-contoured seat will not be on that order. Very limited availability on the Super Cab. Exhausted availability on the limited Platinum and King Ranch. And again, that is for this week. So they did schedule a bunch, I know, a couple weeks ago. They'll schedule more of those, I believe, maybe next week. Limited availability for these options. So the 18-inch sparkle silver painted cast aluminum wheel, that's option 648. The 19.5 G, that is your F450 tire. That's the standard tire. Is limited, so that kind of makes the 450 kind of limited in scheduling. Also, the LK frame, that's optional on the 550, 600 with the 6.7 and 7.3 engines, with the 143-inch dually wheel without the payload package 68F. The SEK frame, that is optional on the F450, F550, F600 with the 7.3 diesel with the 169-inch wheelbase, or the dually wheelbase. And then also the 193-inch wheelbase that's optional on the XL and XLT 450, 550, 600 chassis cabs are also limited. And then lastly, the headlamp that is standard on the limited and premium is also limited availability. So there you go. All right. Exhausted availability. Oh, man. There's a whole list. Look at that. All right. 20-inch bright machine aluminum wheel. That's the King Ranch wheel, which now we're probably seeing why we're having issues getting the King Ranch Platinum scheduled. It's because of the wheel options. So the next one is a 20-inch chrome aluminum wheel on a single rear wheel. That's 649, as well as the 18-inch tire, all-terrain tire that's optional on the 250, 350 with the STX appearance package or sport appearance package for the XL and XLT, which is also the standard on the Lariat version. So looks like we're having a lot of parts issues here. And believe it or not, that's still a thing. Also, the 18-inch bright machine and carbonized gray painted alloy wheel. I think that's the one that's on the sport package. 64C is exhausted as well. And a bunch of different frames for the F350 two-wheel drives. So if you're having one of those, good luck. The 205-inch wheelbase that is optional on the XL, XLT, 450, 550, 600 chassis cabs. The four-corner strobe light system is exhausted. Gooseneck dual hitch kit is exhausted. Heavy-duty alternator that's standard on the XL gas. The Max Recline leather, we already kind of Oh, that was multi-contoured seat. So that is also exhausted. That's your limited, right? Let's see what else. The 203-inch wheelbase fuel tank with the low sulfur diesel fuel 98L. The transfer case on the standard on the 600 4x4 is a problem. The fifth wheel hitch kit's a problem. The Tremor off-road package is exhausted. It says requires 4x4 and 6.7 diesel or the 7.3 gas. The black Onyx interior, which is optional on the Lariat and the Platinum, is exhausted. Star White Metallic, change your color. And if you have everything else, change your color. Baja interior. Do we have an interior that's even available? Which is optional on the XL and Lariat trim. Yeah. So there you go. And then balanced out is Azure Gray and Stone Gray, which are going to be discontinued after this year. So if you have Stone Gray or Azure Gray, you're done. So you can't get that anymore. Wow. Super Duties. Now there's 29,600 Super Duty orders in the order bank that are still unscheduled. So
Super Hacker Con says, at this point, I feel like we should just give up on building Super Duty for the week and try again next week.
Those are a lot of the same ones that were on there last week too. So, man, I feel like going over that, I'm like, yeah, do you guys want to hear all these things that aren't available? But those of you who want a Super Duty, you want to know the information, right? You may not like what I have to say, but at least you like that you at least know what's going on, right? So,
yeah.